So this is Reflective Practitioner video journal number 3 for week 6. This topic is extremely interesting and really timely for me specifically because we just had 2 very important visits. One was from the County Department of Health. There was an inspection, a pop-up inspection, as they always are. They never schedule one. We also had a visit by our authorizer, Los Angeles County Office of Education itself. So in preparation for both these visits, our school is naturally doing a lot of cleanup, a lot of organization, and walkthroughs just to make sure that all classrooms were safe, orderly, and conducive for learning. So in my walkthroughs, actually first let me back up. Our school has a very unique situation. We share a campus with a district school. We have for the last 8 years that we've been on this campus. But that's not what makes our school unique, because a lot of charter schools do share campuses with district schools. What makes us unique is we are on a district school campus that is supposed to house anywhere from 1,500 to 2,000 students. Our school has 500 and the district school has 500. So this district school has tons of empty rooms that are not being used, that are not housing students. But every single year we've had to fight to secure not just more rooms, but enough rooms to even house our students. There's just empty classrooms sitting around not being used. So facility challenges are very real for our school and really for most charter schools. But in preparation for our authorizer visit and this health inspection, we actually had a first one of the year back in February. And that health inspection back in February had a lot of findings with our general areas for serving food and then our restrooms and just hot water and other custodial and maintenance issues. So we had to make sure that all those things were remedied as quickly as possible, because at any time the Department of Health could pop up and do a surprise visit. And if you don't correct those findings after a second visit, then they refer you to their central office. And at that central office visit, if things are not rectified or resolved, then you can actually have your funding pulled by the state, or you can get fined by the state itself. So, all the classrooms, they had to make sure that they were orderly, clean, nothing was stocked too high in the event of earthquakes, no electrical outlets were left hanging around. It was a really eye-opening experience. But the walkthroughs that we had by our authorizer were actually surprisingly pretty lax. I think just the nature of being a big authorizing body, it really depends on who your inspector and who your supervisor is. Some people could be sticklers and very black and white, like our Department of Health inspector was. He drilled us for everything, even things we had no control over because of our shared space. So because of our shared Prop 39 facility agreement with LUSD and the district school, we are kind of at the mercy of district personnel for maintenance. They have their scheduled cleaning, their scheduled maintenance, and they don't really respond to our requests, at least not in an expedited fashion. They get around to it when they get around to it, and their justification is that, well, you're not a district school, you're technically leasing through Prop 39 on this campus, and we're to comply with our maintenance schedule and our custodial schedule. So I do have a good relationship with the lead custodian. He works with us. He responds to our requests, but again, the timeline is terrible and there's really nothing I can do. I kind of have to be really myself and our entire admin team. We have to be gracious. We have to be respectful, courteous, and we wait. A lot of times we wait a really long time. To give you an example, some of our classrooms have been waxed since last year, and that's something that the district does for every classroom in the summertime. They're supposed to be waxed and cleaned, all the floors, that is, in preparation for the new school year. All of the district's classrooms got waxed and cleaned, but not ours, and we're still waiting. We put in a request, and hopefully over the spring break they've done it, but I am neither hopeful or confident that that has been done. Again, we don't have custodial staff ourselves. We're not allowed to because we share a facility. The custodial staff for the district, there's one custodial manager. During the day, there are anywhere from 3 to 4 custodial staff. Again, this is for a campus that's supposed to house 1,500, 2,000 students. And there is one night shift custodian. And they're responsible for the entire campus. But in reality, a lot of times our teachers are actually the ones doing cleaning. In preparation for our authorizer visit 2 weeks ago, we actually had a deep cleaning day where we canceled tutoring and after school clubs, and everyone pitched in. We gave teachers time and materials to clean their own classrooms, make sure that storage was put away, not falling or tripping hazards, lecture outlets were covered. And then admin, myself and my 4 administrative team members actually had to sweep and verify each of the classrooms. We are blessed to just even be on a school campus. The previous school I worked at, we were inside a mall. That was terrible. I'm sorry, not a mall. We were inside a church. And that was terrible. Some of the other schools in my organization have been inside malls. A handful do share campuses with other schools, but some of those campuses have as many as 4 schools on them. So just imagine the logistical, operational nightmare of requesting facilities, sharing usage on a campus with 4 different schools, especially at a time right now when the charter versus district rhetoric is so contentious and so tense, especially with that moratorium being proposed right now to pass. It's an interesting thing to share a campus. It's almost like subletting a room in someone's apartment, paying rent, but having no real rights. You kind of just have your room, and you have to request to use the dining room. You have to request to get the restrooms cleaned. You have to request to use the closet. That's kind of how it is with our school. Very interesting.